is up, gamers? It is your boy. I am King J, back, ready to make an impact here as we move on through the off season. We have week 1 of free agency, and I promised you guys a big trade, and I am going to be right back with that trade. I'll show you guys that trade here in just a second, but I will say I think this is going to be a trade that is going to surprise a lot of people, but I think you will see my point of view in it in the future. So be right back. What is up, gamers? It's your boy, I am King J, and we are back here to begin this New York Giants franchise. As you can see, I made a promise and we fulfilled it. We did a lot in this little time in between videos to make this team way better. Starting with, we moved on from the athletic freak Saquon Barkley. It's a risk. It's a huge risk, but Saquon Barkley just isn't on the field enough for me to truly say he's game-changing. So the Buffalo Bills, they fought me on it a little bit, but we were finally able to get them to do it. We sent them James Bradbury, who will be their best corner, their second best corner. So they have 2 top-tier corners now. They're trying to make a run. The Buffalo Bills want to win a Super Bowl. We also traded Saquon Barkley and our second-round pick for next year in order to get Carlos Basham Jr., the young edge rusher, plus 2 first-round picks from the Bills. I think that's a good deal. There's no way that Saquon Barkley would go for a first-round pick without that James Bradbury in the second-round pick added. But that second-round pick and James Bradbury in their own are worth at least a first, maybe a first and a second. But we were able to get a first, plus I believe what was the Bills' second-round pick last year with Carlos Basham, who I think will be really good for us. He's going to play a right outside linebacker across from Azeez Ojulari. The next trade we did, we sent, this is the reason we could send that second-round pick to the Bills, was because we had a second-round pick for next year because we traded Leonard Williams for that to the Baltimore Ravens, who needed that because they lost Calais Campbell. We also made a big move here with the New England Patriots. This will be our last trade. We were able to get left guard Mike Onwenu and tight end Jonnu Smith, who will be our tight end for the future. He's only 27. Great upside. Was lost in that 2 tight end set out there in New England. We brought him here to be our number 1 pass catcher. We gave up a 4th, Adoree Jackson, and Kenny Golladay. The reason we had to give up the 4th is because I couldn't see New England taking on these 2 risky contracts and giving up 2 somewhat upside players without getting a pick in return too. So they get that 4th-round pick that will easily replace one of those 2 guys that they're giving up. They also get their number 1 receiver in Kenny Golladay, who I think that's what they wanted. They wanted a number 1. I think Kenny Golladay, maybe in New England's system, could be a number 1. So we'll see what he does out there in New England. Also, Adoree Jackson will be their second or third corner, whichever one you want to argue. But I think they got really good value for a 3rd corner at the worst. I think that's really good for them. That's 2 guys that'll start, plus a 4th rounder that will more than likely start on that team as well. Now we go to who we've signed in free agency, because I did get us our signings done. First things first, we address the offensive line. We bring in right guard Austin Corbett to be our future at right guard. He's only 26 years old. Very good signing there, I think. We go on to, we're turning into that we're in that 3-4 system. I think Derek Barnett was in a 4-3 system. He was in a 4-3 system with the Eagles. I think it was the wrong system. So we're going to bring in Derek Barnett. 5 years. If he doesn't work out, we'll cut him in the next couple years. But we're going to give him a couple years to really try and see if he can develop into that right end of that 3-4 scheme that we want him to be. Where he's not going to be our run stopper, but he will be a nice inside edge rusher, or inside rusher, I think, pass rusher. We also signed another former Eagle, Alex Singleton, who we will be bumping to middle linebacker. He is going to be just a depth piece, honestly, more than anything. A guy that can come in, give us decent depth off the bench. With Tate Crowder. He might even start next year, depending on what we end up hitting on in the draft as far as linebackers go. We bring in Alec Ingold would be I figured he'd be a decent fullback for us long term. We don't have to worry about that position the rest of the franchise. Bring in Levi Wallace on a 3-year, $12 million deal. Really good value for a guy like Levi Wallace, who is just a solid corner. He's not a superstar, he's not a stud, but he's solid. He's reliable. That's what we want. We want reliable guys. We bring in Levi Wallace to be there with Julian Love and Darnay Holmes. Who knows? We might even draft a corner to put into that mix as well. But right now, that's our three. Bring in a punter, Corey Bajorquez. I always forget how to pronounce his name. We bring in our backup tight end will be O.J. Howard, who I think has a lot of upside for us. Not too bad of a contract. We bring in on a 2-year prove-it deal, Juju Smith-Schuster. Here's my thing. Juju Smith-Schuster has the potential to be a number 1 wide receiver. He has the potential to be a stud wide receiver in the league. We've seen it. Can he produce on that level? We'll see. We give him 2 years because we don't know what our quarterback situation is like. I don't think it's fair to judge him on a bad quarterback play if it ends up being bad quarterback play with Daniel Jones. So we'll see what happens with him. We go on to Will Lutz being our kicker. We also bring in Dearness Johnson. We were big spenders in this free agency, but I'm okay with that because there was a lot of talent in positions that we needed. We bring in Dearness Johnson on another similar deal to Juju. It's an approved deal. He may end up being our number 1 running back. We'll see. Again, we don't know what the draft is. We don't know where people are going to fall, things like that. They're not going to do that. So we shall see what happens with Dearness Johnson. See if he can develop into a stud running back. He's never really had a chance. He's been behind 2 all-pro running backs his entire career. When he was in Cleveland, though, this past season, and both those guys were hurt, he stepped up and did what he needed to do. So I would be intrigued to see if he can be our guy of the future. We bring in Derek Nanandi to help for help with Dexter Lawrence. He needed help on that D-line. We bring him in as well. That's a proven run stuffer. So we get him. We also bring in Leighton Vander Esch, who will help out on that offense or that middle linebacker spot. He the in-division guy. Leighton Vander Esch has faced a lot of troubled history with injuries, but Leighton Vander Esch, when healthy, is arguably a top-tier linebacker. I think he has that potential here in New York to be that guy for us, to be that big-time run stuffer in the middle. Of that second level. So we'll see what happens with him. We are going to go ahead and move on to the draft, and I'll see you guys there with who we select. We are here with the draft, and as you can see, in a surprising move, the New York Jets at 5 take Malik Willis out of Liberty. I guess they think he's better than what they had already in-house, but that opens us up to take the player that we want. And Ikem Ekwonu, he will be our right tackle. We'll be showing him over there on that right tackle spot. Big-time tackle prospect. And we're hoping that the Carolina Panthers don't take the guy we want next. And they do not. They take Charles Cross. So we get both guys that I was looking at in this draft. We get Ikem Ekwonu and we get Kyle Hamilton, the blue-chip safety. Beautiful draft for us so far. That's 2 blue-collar guys that immediately become starters on this team. And we have that 3rd first-round pick now from the Buffalo Bills. And we'll see what we get with that one. As Tyler Lindenbaum, with another guy I was looking at, gets taken right before this pick. We get into this, and we're looking around. I'm seeing some talent. Definitely seeing some talent. The guy we will go with, though, is going to be our replacement. He will be competing for the replacement spot, should I say. But it's a guy with a lot of upside. I think he's a talented running back. Kenneth Walker, the only running back I think you could argue going in the first round in this draft. We'll take him out of Michigan State. He's used to playing in the cold up there in Michigan, so ought to help us out a little bit when it comes time for playoff season. As we move on to the second round, and we're still looking to continue to get better here. We're going to take Zion Johnson, a guy that I think we can easily bounce into the center role, because he did play a little bit of center at Boston College. That's a beautiful thing about Zion Johnson. He played pretty much every position on the offensive line at Boston College. He's a bit of a project, but I think he's going to be a very talented offensive lineman in the NFL. As we continue on with this draft, we're looking now to get the guy on the other side of of the defensive tackle spot, maybe. No, I don't think we're going to find a good defensive tackle there. We got our offensive linemen. We got our tight ends. Could look at running backs, see if there's any value. Sky Moore. I don't know why the running backs are NA. It's weird. There's no quarterback worth taking. Corner. Could we go corner? We could go corner. Okay. That's what we're going to do, actually. We're going to go corner. We're going to take Darion Kendrick out of Georgia. Doesn't have a depth trait, but he is a talented young corner that I think could possibly produce for us and be a decent name for us. Here with our next pick in the 3rd round. Looking through at what's available to us. I think taking I think this is where we go with our wide receiver. So I want to say Wan'Dale Robinson's out of Wake Forest or Kentucky. He's out of somewhere down south. We're going to take him though. He's a speedster. He's similar to what we already have in Kadarius Toney, but I think he'll be a decent option for us. We continue to move on with this draft. We're gonna, I think we're gonna go with another corner for depth purposes. Or actually, no, we might go with another safety for depth purposes. We're gonna go Nick Cross out of Maryland. Like I said, just depth guy that can really fill in a spot for us on this team. We might actually double up at that as the dog starts barking. Calm down. But yeah, sorry about that, guys. But yes, we will be doing it. Now we're probably gonna double up on that safety spot if there's still the other guy that I wanted there. Oh, he's not, so never mind. We'll actually take Michael Wright out of Oregon to come in and be another corner to add to our depth chart. We do have 3 really solid middle linebackers, but I would like to add one more if there's a decent one here. Do we have any? We do have a 7th. Okay, so in the 7th round, we'll get our backup quarterback, I think. But I want to get... there's really not one where... Not even somebody I can bump in. Let's go with the quarterback here, actually. They're all projected to be undrafted, but I do like the upside of De'Aaron King as a mobile quarterback. We'll see if he can actually come in and help. But, and with our 7th and last pick in the draft, we will be going with actually, we're going to go D-tackle, bro. We're going to take the best D-tackle available, which is Otito Ogbonia out of UCLA. Ought to be hopefully a good depth piece for us. But yeah, that'll be our draft, guys, and I'll see you guys at week 1. So I was simming, and we actually got a camp standout in Dexter Lawrence, who's trying to really just keep pushing up the leaderboards. We're going to do stopping the run. We want him to be a brilliant run stuffer for us. So yeah, he's a camp standout. I just wanted to let you guys know that. All right, guys, we are here with week number 1, fresh out of the preseason, and here will be our lineup for this first season of football. We're gonna have Kenneth Walker starting at running back. Of course, Dearness Johnson got hurt in the preseason. He's only out 1 more week, so he might get into the mix here, but we will go Kenneth Walker as our number 1. The offensive line is new and renewed. We have 2 rookies on it, but other than that, we have some, at this point, pretty much people that have been here a little bit and they know what they're doing. We're, of course, going to run Juju, Darius Slayton, and Kadarius Toney out there at the receivers with Wan'Dale Robinson coming off the bench with them. The defense. It's an intriguing defense. It's an intriguing look. Now, I really debated between Julian Love and Darnay Holmes to get that second receiver or second corner slot. I'm going to go with Darnay Holmes because of his star potential. Lawrence and Anandi with Barnett on the D-line. Crowder and Van Der Esch in the middle. Azeez Ojulari out there on the edge with Basham. McKinney and Hamilton in the back. Special teams, our kick returner will be Wendell Robinson. Specialists, slot corner Julian Love, Basham Ojulari, and then Anandi and Lawrence in the middle. Van Der Esch and Crowder. Kenneth Walker here, Tony there. So that's going to be our team going into week 1. In week 1, we will be facing the Tennessee Titans. We got Derrick Henry. We have a tough schedule ahead here. In our first 4 weeks, we played Dallas twice. So we can really get a grip on the division if we can sweep Dallas. That's our goal. I will see you guys in the next episode when we play the Tennessee Titans. Let's see what happens here, folks. Can't wait to keep bringing this out for you guys. Love all y'all. Till next time, I am King J, and I am signing off. Peace.